Hello, this is Daniel and I'm going electric for the average person. Just about to cross the 13,000 mile mark in the Everglades of Southern Florida on a bicycle, but also in my Tesla Model Y and my great drive across America. Stay tuned and I will show you how the car has been holding up over the past 13,000 miles. And I'll also show you how that beautiful white interior is holding up. Welcome back. A little bit of background about me and this car. My nickname for this beautiful blue 2020 Model Y with 20-inch induction wheels and white interior is Blue Lightning. I bought the Blue Lightning about 4 months ago, and I've driven so far around the United States 13,000 miles. That started in San Francisco and then went up out to Idaho right away, up and over through Jackson Hole, Wyoming into Montana, up to Minnesota, then down through Wisconsin, Illinois, all the way down to Dallas, Texas, and then Boca Chica to check out some SpaceX action up there, up through Louisiana, around the Deep South, up to Washington, D.C., and now down to the Everglades in Florida. So Blue Lightning has definitely seen a whole lot of America. I am back in Miami now because the Everglades were just getting too windy to film, so I'm at Virginia Key right now. And there's some background noises, airplanes, and there's a strange man kind of yelling in the bushes over there. You might hear him. I can't control it. All right, so this video is going to focus on a couple main topics. Number one, I'm going to talk about the exterior after 13,000 miles, the interior after 13,000 miles. I'm going to mention any services I've had to perform on the car. I'm also going to talk about range and efficiency. And then lastly, I'm going to have a section on what I hate about my Model Y and what I love. So let's begin. First up, the exterior. I do get a couple comments in my videos wondering about paint chips or scratches or dings. I don't find that the paint is as bad as I was kind of expecting. And that comes with an asterisk. If I'm talking about the front of the car, I have only seen a couple little dings and scratches, and I tell you, I have driven on dirt roads. I have had semi trucks throw up pebbles and rocks and dirt clods on my car to the point that I felt like the windshield should have just shattered on the spot. And then when I get out and I look at the car, yeah, I see a couple dings, but very minor. I'm really surprised the whole front of the car is not in much worse shape considering where I've driven. But there is on the back panel of the doors, and I'll show a couple videos here, there are some speckles, significant speckling on those back passenger doors. So the door kind of pops out around the wheel, and as you're driving down the road, you can tell that like rocks and pebbles and dirt are just coming right up off the road and hitting the back portion of the door where it kind of bends out. Does it bother me? Not really. I mean, I'm putting the car through its paces and I'm not being terribly precious with my Model Y. If I were the sort of person that thing bothered me, I would get one of those clear coat protection applications that you can put on. But other than that, that has been the main exterior problems, which I think over 13,000 miles and given the roads I've driven on, not too shabby. The windows are in great shape. That beautiful glass roof, not a single scratch. I love it. It does get a little dirty sometimes, and I find myself, if I wash my windshield, it's like I also want to wash that beautiful glass roof. So then I'm all in when I'm cleaning. Good thing I travel with paper towels and lots of glass cleaner. As for the wheels, they're also in great shape. When I bought the car, the first weekend I was getting used to driving it, I have to say that it's so weird. I feel like I can't park this car as easily as I could other cars. And I love to drive, and I always prided myself on like parallel parking. The first weekend I had this car, I curbed it twice. And that was a little sad. I got out and those beautiful aluminum wheels were sparkling aluminum under the black. Did that twice. Didn't love that, but since then I've been a little paranoid about parking and I haven't had a problem. The only other exterior related issue would be wind noise making its way from the exterior into the interior. I've made a couple of videos about this in the past where I think the car is just unusually loud at highway speeds. It's basically silent from 0 to 45, but once you do get up to those higher speeds, I feel like Tesla made some design choices that results in the interior just being louder at highway speeds than it needs to be. Maybe the newer ones are getting better noise reduction insulation. I did buy a noise reduction kit and I will apply it when I have the time and the energy, so we'll see how that shakes out. But other than that, I think the exterior of the car is in really, really good shape. Next up, the interior. There are three main focus areas. One is going to be that white panel along the dashboard. The only scratches that I've had on it are these super tiny minor scratches on the driver's side. I don't know where it's coming from. I'd probably bang it up somehow or another with my watch or jewelry that I wear. But other than that, it's in great shape. The center console in that piano black shiny reflection color, which apparently is being gotten rid of or already replaced on the newer models, it doesn't bother me at all. I actually like it. I think it's like pretty sharp looking. It shows every speckle of dust though. So if you're OCD with dust, you're gonna have a microfiber cloth like I do, and you're constantly gonna be cleaning it. Doesn't bother me. I do that with my phone. Then this beautiful white interior. I love this white interior as much today as the day I picked up the car. I love it when it's dark at night and I turn on the interior lights and I just look at it. I love it. Everybody who gets in the car loves it. I am also happy to report that it's true. Baby wipes keep the seats clean. The only thing that I'm a little freaked out about would be like a black marker or a blue pen or something falling out of my hand and landing in the seat. I don't know if I can just baby wipe that away. But here are a couple shots of the seats themselves. They're in really good shape. Interestingly, the videos that I took almost looks like there's a black hue on it. That is not really how it looks to my eye. That has to be an effect of the video camera somehow, the sensor not picking it up totally right with that bright white material. The seats look great. I have had blue jean transfer on these seats. I have had the stain of a black belt that I was wearing in a rainstorm transfer when I got in the car. I also wear black cotton pants that have transferred to the driver's seat in particular, and it all has just wiped away with baby wipes. Now I will say, I clean my driver's seat every weekend. It takes me, I don't know, all of 60 seconds. But I do make sure at least once a week that I wipe these seats down. And they're in great shape. The passenger seat has probably only seen people in it, I don't know, 5% of the time. I primarily drive the car on my own. The back seat even less. As you've maybe seen in some of my other videos, I have purchased a pet seat cover for the back. It goes over the back headrest, goes down over the seat. And if I wanted it to, it could actually come and loop over the front seats with a strap, but I took that part off and it just kind of goes down, and I put all my suitcases and ice chests and grocery bags when I'm traveling. I throw stuff back there. I torture the back of this car. And then when it's time to have someone in, a family member or a friend, wherever I'm stopping across the country, I just pull it all out and the seats look amazing and everybody loves it. So the interior of the car has weathered very, very well. Next up, service and support. Blue Lightning has seen a Tesla service repair center or mobile repair center 3 times over the past 13,000 miles. The first one was the most major one, which was a defective power assist brake motor assembly unit, something like that. I was driving up to West Virginia, and I was in southwestern Virginia state, and it just stopped working. I made an episode about it. Loud, freaky noises, regen wasn't working, and the car wasn't stopping correctly when I applied the brakes. Tesla decided to tow it down to North Carolina, and because of the holiday and COVID and a lot of people being out of their service center back then, it took 2 full weeks to get the repair. Apparently the part had to come in from California, I guess, and it was like sent snail mail. Took apparently 5 or 6 days to ship it out. It was a little odd. That repair was free, so thanks Tesla, I appreciate it. Also, the efficiency of my car has gone up significantly since that repair. So I have to say, although that was all very inconvenient, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me with my Model Y. The other service issue was a tire rotation that I did recently. That was $35, where they rotate the tires from front to back and back to front. And then the next day, or probably later that night, I drove over a razor blade, went back to my car the following day, and that back left tire was totally flat. Tesla support contacted them, and then they sent out a repair truck. They happily replaced the tire, which was great. I think that repair was $373 total, including labor, tax, and tip. And now I got a beautiful new tire on the car. A little expensive. I've heard from other people in the comments that you can get it for less from third-party suppliers, but I went with Tesla. It was convenient. I'm here in Miami. They showed up in their truck, took care of me, and I was back on the road. Next up, range and efficiency. It's getting really sunny here in Florida. This topic was really weird for me. I knew that I wasn't going to get the EPA rated numbers of like 326 miles out of the battery. Like, EPA numbers are notoriously just off. So I never expected that, but I was surprised my first like 10,000 miles or whatever it was, that I was only getting maybe like 210 miles out of the tank. And there were some times where I couldn't guarantee, even with good weather, that I was going to get something like 190 miles. I mean, it made driving really hard. Like, there were a lot of roads I couldn't go down because there weren't any superchargers. And even if there were superchargers, like in southern Texas, I couldn't guarantee that I could even get to them. So that was really uncomfortable. Although, as I mentioned, when I got that brake motor assembly assist unit replaced, my efficiency went up by like 20% at least. So I am now at the range where I can easily get like 240 up to 280 miles out of that battery. And that's at highway speed. So I am super happy about that. You know, I was chatting with people online and they were telling me that they were getting much better range than I was. And I didn't understand it. And I had reached out to Tesla and they swore up and down that there was nothing wrong with the car. But I get that brake thing replaced and suddenly my car is like dynamite. I love it. So for any of you watching this video, if you're just not getting the efficiency that other people are getting, there may be something related to your brakes that is just resulting in a much lower efficiency rating. So get that looked into and get it replaced, because my life is a whole lot better now because of it. But overall, I'm super happy with the efficiency of the car. The supercharger network across the country has been phenomenal. There have only been a couple places where it just didn't work out. Like when I was in the Grand Tetons and wanted to go through Yellowstone, there just was no like guaranteed electricity, and the range on my car was so crummy back then that I just had to forego Yellowstone, which was a bit of a disappointment. But I got through that. The rest of the country's been amazing, especially along the East Coast where there's just so many cities and so many people. There's literally electricity everywhere. I've never had any problem. You might have to drive out of a downtown area to get somewhere, or you might have to pay a parking structure fee while you're supercharging, a couple bucks. Not super in love with that, but it is what it is. It's still less than gasoline. So it's been great. Tesla is still the best game in town when it comes to being able to charge up while you're driving across the country. I've had great experiences with all of that. Strangely, I have found across this country, in certain parts of the country, and this may not come as a surprise to you, I'll get out, charge my car, and some person in a truck drives by and starts screaming profanities out at me because I drive a Tesla or an electric car. I find that bizarre. I'm hoping that when the Cybertruck comes out and starts spanking everyone's butts, that these people will realize that their objections to electric transportation are a joke, and hopefully they'll either become owners or at least quiet down just a little bit. As for anything else that might take a hit on the battery, like the heating or air conditioning system, I don't know, that also reduces your mileage in a gas car, so I'm not too freaked out by that. And I haven't noticed it being like totally unreasonable either. Yeah, you get a reduction in efficiency, maybe, I don't know, 10-15%, whatever it is, but you kind of just work that in. Now, if you're in super cold weather, like when I was in North Dakota or Montana, you're definitely going to see like a 20% reduction, I think, just because of the weather, the wind resistance, any snow on the road, and just that battery has to constantly maintain itself. I was noticing when I was there, if the EPA rating was 326 miles, I'd probably get like half of that out of the battery, maybe 60%. So keep that in mind if you live somewhere where it's really cold. Other than that, the rest of the country hasn't been a major problem when I turn on the air conditioner or the heater. One surprising thing that does chew up a lot of electricity out of this battery is Sentry mode. And I never would have guessed that. I mean, Sentry mode, I just figured it was like my home security camera pointed at a thing and trying to use some AI to spot things out. I don't know if it's using the sensors and proximity and all this other stuff, probably. but it will chew through between 4 and 7% of your battery per day if the car is just sitting there with Sentry mode on, and it probably is also dependent on how much action's going on around the car. When I was in Miami, I parked the car up on a really lovely, trendy parking structure that has no ledges on it, so you can see everything, and it was pointed out over the edge, and down below was like street traffic and street lights and whatever. I got into the car the next day, it was like 7% down, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to charge my car at least within like 2 or 3 days. I get in the car, and then on that center dash display, it's like, you've got 492 Sentry events for your review. And I'm like, oh my God, like I've got way better things to do with my life than look through like 100 million clips. And the car was fine, so I didn't think that there was anything I had to see. So I just pulled out that little memory stick and deleted it, you know, put it on my computer, deleted all the files, and then stuck it back in the car. That was crazy. So I now park my car in that garage while I'm still in Miami, in a direction that's pointed at nothing, so that the cameras are not constantly just like tracking stoplights. I would love it to use a lot less energy, because now I find myself asking, do I want security if my car gets keyed or something, or do I want battery power and being able to drive? And also environmentally, I don't know if it's totally responsible just to leave my cameras on and like go through a whole tank of electrons just for like street lights. The final thing to be said about efficiency sounds totally obvious, but when you drive an electric car, you come to find out that it's actually critical. The slower you drive, the more efficient the car. The faster you drive, the less efficient the car. And what that means is if you're finding yourself in a pinch and you need electrons and you're on a highway doing like 80 miles an hour, you're gonna have to drop it down to 65. And if that doesn't work for you, you're gonna have to drop it down to like 40 miles an hour on that highway. I tell you, when you drive half as fast, it's almost like you're getting twice as many miles. I don't know the exact math there, but the improvement for slower driving is really, really good. So just keep that in your back pocket. If you're experiencing any range anxiety, just slow it down, let the cars go around you, and you'll find that you will rapidly have many more miles on that dashboard display telling you how far you can drive before you run out of juice. If you need miles, go slower. If you don't need miles and you're charging at home, gun it and put this car through the paces, because it's a fun car. And finally, what do I hate about my Model Y? And what do I love as I drive from Virginia Key back to Miami Beach? I will say that hate is a 4-letter word, as is love. Better use them judiciously. So instead of saying hate, I'm gonna say, what is it that I don't totally like about this car or having an electric car at all? And the main things I have to say regarding the car in particular, as I've mentioned numerous times before, I think that noise that comes in at highway speeds. The other thing that I don't totally love is the fact that the fast charger network, aside from Tesla, is not really good at all in the country. You know, if you're gonna drive and you can't use a Tesla supercharger, you better pray, because it's not easy to find these things. And when you do, they're kind of far and few between. I really, really hope over the next couple of years, the United States can rapidly build out a fast charger network, because if that were possible right now, I can primarily, like, especially through the western states, drive along interstates, which is fine for most people. But I would rather take all the roads that no one else wants to drive on, like those crazy, lonely desert highways. Let's get some electricity along those roads. But right now it's just not there, so they're pretty much not an option. Other than that, there's nothing that I don't like about this car. So let's get into what I love about this car. I love the exterior design. I really do. I walk up to the car and I just love it. I love the interior design. I sit in this beautiful white interior and I love it. It's beautiful night and day. I love that glass roof, but I have a feeling during summertime it's going to get pretty warm. I'm bald, and I have the air conditioning off, and it's a hot winter day here in Miami, and I'm starting to sweat profusely because I don't want to have the air conditioning sound in the background. I did buy a cover for that glass roof during summertime because my head is like a heat sensor. It can already feel a little bit of the warmth during summertime. I know during wintertime, I know during summertime it's going to be even cranked up, so I'm going to cover that up. I love the efficiency of this car. I always wanted an efficient car. I care about energy conservation. I care about reduction in emissions, and that's a complicated statement with an electric car based on how the energy is produced and where you're driving, yada, yada, yada. But overall, this is a significant improvement to the efficiency of driving a car. I love that. I love, frankly, that this car was made by an American company in the United States by American workers with a whole lot of American components, and it's powered by American energy. I think there's a great national security benefit there as well. I also love the fact that this thing gets up and goes when you hit the accelerator. You punch it. And I have to laugh because there are a lot of people in sports cars now who want to challenge me to a race. Disclosure, I officially don't race. Let the internet know that. And police, don't contact me. But I have to laugh because in the rare occasion I want to go from 0 to speed limit. And I punch it, and these people are trying to race me, like, unless they're in the best ICE car, I blow them away. And I never really viewed myself as competitive until I got this car. And now I just think it's a lot of fun to blow someone's doors off. I have to say, Tesla, you have slightly changed me in that way for the better. So that's my 13,000 mile review. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, put them in the comments below. If you want to reach out to me directly, just leave your email address in the comments below and ask any questions you want. If you want me to send pictures of any wear and tear on the car, if you have any other clarifications that you need before you decide which model you want to buy, feel free to reach out. I love chatting with all of you who watch my videos. Without you, there would be no reason to make these videos. And I'm hoping I can help you make an informed and educated and intelligent decision when you're about to spend a good amount of money on a new car. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.